So, what people don't really know is that I injured my back about 4 years ago, I guess, 5 years ago. I had no idea that I'd done it. It's one of these stupid stories where you think to yourself, how the fuck did somebody do that stupid fucking thing and not realise they'd fucking done it? Well, it looks like whilst doing the most minor of stunt work, like the most minor, we are talking falling on the floor. That's it, all right? If it's a Hollywood movie, I get paid out millions, but it's not. During part of what I used to do, I used to have to fall over, like everyone used to have to fall over every 2 or 3 minutes, sometimes every 2 or 3 seconds, for a good couple of hours. And you're taught to fall over and everything's fine. Well, it turns out at some point, there was a particular day after running the Airsoft, I just couldn't stand up, and I had to get a nice lady to help me stand up and get me out of the building, basically, because I couldn't walk. It turns out, most likely at that point, because it's impossible to say when it was, but most likely at that point, I broke my back. I've had a few little test results and x-rays, and they've gone, yeah, looks like it. We're going to have to do some MRIs to find out exactly what we can do about it, but yeah, dude, you broke your back. So, I don't really get a chance to play too much. And when I want to test things, I have to give it to some other cunt to do. So, I have little testing monkeys, and I'm going to send out a testing monkey in a few weeks' time with the SSR4 with a special hot rubber in it to see what we can see what he thinks of it. I've got somebody out there right now who's doing testing for me for tracer units, and every so often I do get tester monkeys in. Don't ask me if you could be a tester monkey, because the answer is going to be no. I talk to people, when I chat to them, I debate, you know, is this person really good at breaking things accidentally? Yes, he is. Brilliant. In that case, he can have this gun to fucking play with. This guy knows quite a lot of what he's doing, but he hasn't got the refinements that I've got, so I do some work for him, but he's perfect to test this thing. So that's what's happening. I'm giving them out to people. After I've taken it apart and really run it through its paces in a controlled environment, I then give them out to people. Now, I'm about to do some work that back in the late 90s, early 2000s, this shit was normal. This was the absolute most normal work you can do. This is a very, 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 very normal conversion 15, 20 years ago. No fucker does it anymore, and I figured, well, I threw the idea at a couple of people. One wanted MP5, one wanted a G3, and I was like, why don't we mash them up a little bit? And they were like, duh! And that's what I'm doing today. Come here, you bastard! Oh, that's not going to break in transit. If the camera wobbles, by the way, I apologise. I don't mean it, but I apologise. It's very fucking hot. I've also had the theme tune from Rambo First Blood Part 2 on the Commodore. And the Commodore 64 stuck in my fucking head all morning, and it won't go away. So now you guys can endure it as well. It's a banging theme though. Gearbox, guess what? I'm leaving it completely standard. The idea is to sort the guns out for the guys, make them into these shapes. These are very, 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 very regular customers of mine, so I got in the guns for them. They do break a lot of shit. You fuckers do break a lot of shit. Like, you really break a lot of shit, you realise that. But We're going to run them stock until it comes time to require repair, upgrades, whatever, and then that'll be a later date thing. For the time being, we're just going to do the shape. Bit of information, right? You know how people are always on about, you know, oh, my gun's got no fucking range, and as soon as I R-hopped it, I paid someone to R-hop it, the range was fucking incredible. If you take your standard gun, this is direct from the factory. We know the grease will not damage the rubber, but it's certainly not going to hop very well if it's completely full of grease. Yeah? You feel me? That is why people think R-hops are the fucking greatest thing. And Mr. Hops the greatest thing. Oh, you've got to use .4s, but you know, it's just the way it's made. Nah. If you take your barrel apart like this, and as you can see, in a gun like this, it's not a fucking easy task. M4's piece of piss. Something like this or an M14, ball ache. The amount of grease and shit that's inside there is untrue. Cigarette filter. Look at it. That's brand new. So they are going to have new hop rubbers, but they're going to need new barrels anyway for what I'm doing. number 1. Now this one here, MP5s are a bit of a shit with the hop that's here. That's the Golden Eagle JG TM. The types that have the sliding hop, or that's a lot better, but these ones, And my fake weld is still actually drying up here on there, so I'm not going to touch that bit yet. And then I'll just add to it some dimples and things. That's really easy to do. It's to make it look like actual weld. So if we just and go in at different angles, and you go all the way around with that, and then that looks like fake weld. See, perfect. Now when that dries, this whole thing's going to get cleaned, and then that'll be fine. But there we go. This is completely standard. Like I said, the hop unit in these is a bit shit, so obviously where this rail sits, I've had to cut the hop short, and these would be the JG MP5s would be the perfect gun if it wasn't for that hop unit. So having to slide that when you fire BBs through, it automatically knocks it back. Now JG and Golden Eagle have gone with the same technique, same company really. Underneath the arm is a little clicker, but it just doesn't hold it hard enough because the other side of the arm is held on, you can see it, with a rubber O-ring. It's just how they work. So I have added a grub screw in here because I don't want to have the customer use this with any MED, but I want them to get the experience of a DMR because they've never had a DMR before, and I want to get the experience of a DMR without having to worry about MEDs. So I've made this hop 0.36s, and if you turn the hop down, obviously the power gets very high. So I have locked with a grub screw. So it can be turned up, it can't be turned down. And that way they can still adjust a little if they want to, and there's less chance of that arm moving when it's fired. But there we go. Quite nice, right? What I don't like is the optical illusion. The rail is perfectly straight to the body of the gun across here. But where the cocking tube bends down, and where this is fatter, it looks like it's bent upwards, but it's not. It literally is straight as a nail. It's just the cocking tube you're used to seeing. If it was a G3 size body and G3 mag, you wouldn't notice it so much, but because it's MP5, it does look like it should be straight, and obviously it ain't. What do you reckon? As for the G3, this is my preferred. This is a replica of a real gun. This really did exist. If you look at Forgotten Weapons, you'll see that he has one of these. It exists. It's a real thing. Say it now, the mag that came with it was plastic and it looked awful. I don't know why it came with a plastic mid cap, but it looked crap. So I've donated one of my high caps. But are you ready? Dush. I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it. That does open that enough to access the hop unit. Obviously, don't ever slap it, it will break. On the MP5, as a note, that's deactivated because there's no port cover to open. And I'll go back to it. On this one, that still moves, but the actual charging handle is deactivated. So I've added a copper tube from here to here, and that keeps the whole thing sturdy. I say copper tube. Some people might look at it and go, you've cut down in a barrel. I did. This one here, extended in a barrel. That took me far too long to fucking say. If you're going to put an extended barrel inside these, you do have to drill them out, but it's only a most fractional amount. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this. This is awesome. This was called the SBS in real life. It was a thing that was used, but not a lot. Not a lot. Cool, right?